Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creating Hope Through Action. Today, we join the World Health Organization to support the efforts to raise awareness for World Suicide Prevention Day around the world. My name is Aché Abrahams, and I am honored to be your host for today's discussion on suicide prevention. As Miss World Trinidad and Tobago 2022, I feel responsible for using my reign to bring about meaningful change. Mental health awareness has been my platform. The importance of mental health awareness lies in breaking down how the public looks at mental health, which often prevents individuals from seeking help or openly discussing their mental health concerns. Did you know that Trinidad and Tobago has the third highest suicide rate in the Americas? A staggering reality that calls for immediate attention and understanding. Our goal today is to break the stigma surrounding suicide, initiate conversations, and provide practical solutions you can use to help someone find their way back from the dark and lonely place of suicide. We will share personal stories of triumph, hear from experts, and highlight initiatives creating positive change towards better mental health for all.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket, 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
There's no me without you.
Welcome back. Nazim Mohammed is an incredible young man who attempted to take his own life just a few years ago. Nazim has agreed to share his experience with us so you can learn firsthand how this happened to a seemingly strong, independent, and outspoken individual. Let's hear his stories.
Hi, my name is Nazim Mohammed, and I am here to share my story about surviving suicide. My first suicide attempt was when I was 19 years old. I was in Form 6 at the time pursuing my studies, and at that point a lot of good things was happening in my life. However, when it came to relationships and my family life, I felt very helpless and unheard. And there was a particular situation that escalated my feelings of hopelessness that I had hidden for very long. And one night I decided to overdose on a bottle of pills and alcohol, and I also cut my 2 wrists. At that point in time, I felt like I just wanted the pain to end because everything just felt like the world was on my shoulders and I couldn't take it anymore. I felt sad, depressed, alone, unseen, unheard. And as I was losing my breath, I remember my mom coming into the room and everything else was just a blur after that. However, after spending some time being warded, I started to realize that there's more to life and there's so many things to live for. However, those things and those feelings did not last very long. Even after that incident, I had many thoughts of suicide following traumatic situations in my life. The battle has been very difficult, it has been very hard. However, having people to support me has been the pillar that uplifted me. Because when you think about suicide and you want to take your own life, sometimes you don't think about the people who would be affected by it. You want your pain to end, and a pain that is temporary could be permanent for the people who care about you. The world may go on, however, the pain that you have will not leave the person's life that you hurt. The journey has been hard. It has been moments of celebration from growing from certain situations and feelings and dark emotions to seeing things in a different perspective, but it's definitely worth it. It's hard work, to get rid of those thoughts in your mind that linger consistently. It's difficult to see your worth and your value and how important you are in this life to yourself, first of all, and then to other people. But I guarantee you, once you keep fighting and winning over these thoughts, it will make your life better. One of the major factors would be feeling like I don't belong and that something was wrong with me. Because growing up, not fitting the societal expectations of what a boy or a man should be, that singled me out consistently. So while growing up, even though I did excellent in school, I was a trailblazer in my own right, looking back now, that one thing that made me different was the one thing that I felt was wrong about me. So I grew up with this idea that something is wrong with me. So being involved in relationships as well, when someone left or it did not work out, I felt it was my fault. And I did not give myself credit to know that, I'm unique or I may be different from other people, but it doesn't make me not worthy or not valuable. So those are some of the factors: being singled out and being treated with discrimination, being treated from the lens of what a man should be, what masculinity should be. So in essence, it's really feeling hopeless and unseen and unheard and judged consistently for being different and not meeting the expectations of the world around you, as well as being treated a particular way in certain situations, relationships, friendships, relationships with family, intimate, non-intimate, at the workplace, and understanding that that has nothing to do with me, the way people treat me. That's beyond my control. So wanting to have control and also being different from the typical person and what people expect from you. My turning point, apart from the support I received from those around me, would have also been from having these sessions with a therapist. That really helped cemented what I was being told about myself and the support I was receiving from the people in my life. It's normal to feel like the world is too much for you. It's normal to feel exhausted. It's normal to feel depressed. It's normal to feel sad. It's normal to have negative feelings about life. People think that we have everything going for us, whether it's work, whether it's a relationship, whether it's anything that we are involved in that we should always be grateful for. And be that as it may, we should be grateful for things, but we also need to acknowledge when we are in discomfort or we are not centered, that we are allowed to feel these things. It's normal to feel devastated when a relationship ends. It's normal to feel sad because you feel lonely, that your family isn't around or someone you lost isn't around. We need to normalize being human. We are not automated robots. We don't go about just executing tasks and being part of society without having feeling. It's a real thing. We feel things. It's normal to feel this way. What's not normal is to feel that way for a prolonged period of time. But it's normal and it's okay. I think it's important for people to make it known that they are there. Sometimes we are there for people, but saying I'm here for you and I'll help you carry the weight of the world. I may not be able to take it off your shoulders, but I'll be able to help you carry it. It makes a big difference. Reassuring the person that they are loved simply by saying I love you and I care for you and I'm here for you. Also encouraging them to do things that they like, because when you're in this state of mind, you lose a lot of interest in the things that you like. And sometimes it's just saying, hey, let's go out, or I know you like this, you're interested in going out. And those are the things of somebody just being there and acknowledging that this is something that I need to do to help this person out. It may not be solving their problems, but it may be removing them for a little moment to just remember that, hey, I have someone here with me and life is still going on, and if it's still going on, I have things to look forward to. Being next to the person, holding their hand or giving them a hug and reminding them that you are there for them, it will make a big difference. It made a big difference for me, because your body knows. Your body stores trauma. Your body will also store support, and you will resort to it in your times of hopelessness to remember that feeling And it nourishes your soul in a different type of way, helps you find your way back.
Thank you, Nazim, for sharing your stories. Your resilience is truly inspiring and shows that there's hope even in our darkest moments.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket, 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
Understanding how we can deal with suicidal thoughts is crucial. We often do not want to let our friends and family know we are considering killing ourselves. But if you want to find your way back from that dark place, you have to talk to someone. Consider a friend, a close family member. And if you want a place where no one will know you, no one will judge you or record your conversation or track you down, somewhere safe to talk about what is on your mind, you have the option of Lifeline. Joining me next is Dr. Lucretia Gabriel, the founder of Lifeline, which has heard the cries of many over the years and has helped numerous individuals find their way back from their darkest moments. I asked Dr. Gabriel how long Lifeline has helped people in Trinidad and Tobago and who she thinks in our society is most vulnerable of committing suicide.
Lifeline has been befriending the despairing and suicidal for over 45 years in Trinidad and Tobago. We have found that our men are the most vulnerable. Our men need safe places to speak and really be heard. We have heard the pain and cries of so many desperate people over the years, and we stay with them as long as they need us on the end of that line. We listen to people when they are at their lowest, when to them it is crucial to their survival that no one knows what horror they are thinking. They do not want to hurt their family and friends, but they are in real pain. That is why at Lifeline, we never record a conversation. What they have to say must be totally confidential. We cannot trace their calls or tell them anyone about what was said. We are here and have been here with the sole purpose of giving the suicidal a safe place to speak their mind, to get it out, work it out, and find their way back. That is why we say we will help save a soul, but we will not tell a soul. Sometimes the only thing that will get them searching for hope is that they don't want their child to find them like that, or they don't want to give their mother that grief. We get the most distress calls at present from men. The work we've done over the years have moved it from where women normally talk easily about their distress, not men. Reducing the stigma against mental health is critical to reducing this number of suicides we have a year. The suicidal are considered not only mentally ill, but emotionally and physically the most threatening of the mentally ill. Our aim should be to make the symptoms of mental illness as well known as those of the common cold. Those who are mentally ill should not be left until it becomes a crisis, and one that is a very violent and disturbing crisis, for something to be done. Removing the stigma against mental health is critical to reducing the number of suicides that we have. This is why we insist on saying we befriend the despairing and suicidal. We're a friend to you. We're not really into suicide prevention, although it's excellent at doing it. It is removing the pains and giving the person room to express all that pain that's inside them and deal with it on their own terms. that is what it's about, the freedom to do that, to walk with somebody through that. And what you do not be afraid. If you are lucky, you will be allowed to be present while the person saves him or herself. And all what sets it off is be brave. Ask the question, how are you? Are you okay? And when they tell you, actually listen. Listen to what is said to you and what is not said. And you open that warmth, opens the gate for you to have an honest and possibly very long conversation. This is why some of our calls last 1 minute. Others, our longest call so far has been 7 hours, non-stop. We have calls which broken up are more than 7 hours, but one single call for 7 hours. That meant that that person started to talk and kept talking and talking and talking and talking until all the pain that was inside came out and said, instead of killing myself, I will live another day. And the person has lived another day. But the condition is that we tell nobody what was said. Think about it. If somebody is prepared to kill themselves, let us be clear, it is like they've been taken to court. The prosecution said what it had to say. The jury heard it. The sentence has come in guilty. The judge says death, and they are about to be executioner. And you, the person who's listening to them, you are all there is for the defense, and the only thing you really have is your ability to listen and don't judge. And in that process, for the person to find the strength to forgive themselves what they think is unforgivable, to actually verbalize what they think. And that gives them freedom to start again. It's all right.
Thank you, Dr. Gabriel and Lifeline, for your dedication and commitment for over 45 years, quietly saving the lives of so many without any public recognition or fanfare. If you want to help Lifeline, you can volunteer to be a Lifeline listener or donate to keep this critical service alive and growing. Just log on to www.lifelinett.com. We have much more after these messages.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket, 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
Up next, we have 2 gentlemen in the trenches working daily with people to find their way back from some of the most debilitating mental health challenges. They are psychologists Swayne Leo Hosein Cadogan and Anthony Von Ganness, a psychiatric nurse, to give us their thoughts and insights.
Not everybody who attempts suicide is necessarily depressed or has a mental health issue, right? We talk a lot about mental health in media and social media nowadays, but unfortunately we're still at a place where one person dies every 40 seconds because of suicide and self-harm. So that's about 1 in every 100 deaths is due to suicide. Now, half of those who attempt suicide are successful in the first instance. But the interesting thing in that is that most people who attempt may have no history of mental health issues themselves or may have no family history of mental health issues. But if you look into their backgrounds, a lot of stress, especially with work, life on a whole. We just came out of the dark ages of COVID, as we like to call it. A lot of people would have had to deal with job loss of loved ones, family members. They couldn't attend funerals. They could not interact these are things that would have broken any normal human being and pushed us towards the edge of self-harm.
One of the myths of suicide is that us thinking that if we ask the person about it, it might offend them. If we ask the person about it, it might be inappropriate. However, studies have shown repeatedly that asking the person directly about suicide actually opens the door for them to talk about suicide, because some of them may just be experiencing suicidal thoughts by themselves and thinking that nobody might want to entertain such a conversation. So when you start the conversation, it gives them the opportunity now to connect and to talk about their feelings, talk about their thoughts, as the case may be. And as I said, just asking if they are thinking about suicide is one of those very powerful interventions that you can do to reach out and to connect with somebody who may be having those feelings.
Yep, feeding right off of that last point, you know, we have a lot of stigma attached to mental health issues, these negative perceptions and ideas that we have about it. And as my goodly colleague here mentioned, the stigma that talking about suicide, asking about suicide, may put the idea in the person's head is a very common misconception that's held by the public. And as he said, research has shown that opens the gateway. It's actually like a floodgate being opened. That simple act of asking, how you feeling? What's going on? What's happening? You don't seem to be yourself. One very important thing to remember, thoughts about suicide, the act of suicide, we may think of it as a selfish thing on the individual's part. But really and truly, everyone who attempts or is successful at suicide is experiencing unimaginable pain. That could be psychological pain, spiritual pain, even physical pain. And as my colleague spoke about, that sense of hopelessness, because they don't see an end to that pain. It doesn't feel like it will ever stop. It doesn't feel like anybody will understand, or nobody cares, nobody wants to hear about it. And so the only option left to ease that pain, stop that pain, becomes harming themselves and taking their own lives. That simple, powerful act of asking, are you okay? What are you feeling? Initially, the go-to response might be, I'm fine, I'm okay. Persist. Keep checking in with the individual. Keep asking, what's happening today? Even if they may seem to not want to talk, just being present. I am here, and I will be here tomorrow. I will be here later, and I will be here the day after. Knowing that you care enough to want to ask or just show up, even if you don't know what to say. I am here.
The terminologies that we use in terms of the language to speak about suicide, we don't want to make it look as if the person is doing wrong. And that's why, for example, there's been a shift away from the blaming type of language in terms of somebody have committed suicide. We no longer use that language. Now we say that someone died by suicide, attempted suicide, rather than committed. Committed speaks of if someone have done something wrong. And it's not that you have done something wrong if you have found yourself in a place of helplessness and hopelessness. We don't require professionals only to assist somebody who may be having suicide thoughts. You as an individual, a friend, a family, a peer,
You can
if you educate yourself to understand suicide, you might as well be able to save your friend's life, save your relative's life, because you will know what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, and how to support them through that most difficult time.
Excellent, guys. Thank you very much, Leo and Anthony, for your tremendous wisdom and service to so many daily. More when we come back.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket. 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
Before we wrap up, I have a personal call to action for each and every one of you. As we recognize World Suicide Prevention Day, let's commit to open conversations with our friends and loved ones, offer a listening ear, and spread awareness. Together, we can create a world where no one feels alone. And when we recognize our mental health is compromised, we immediately seek help.
The Ministry of Health has been very consistent with promoting FindCareTT. FindCareTT.com is a crisis support directory of services that was established by the Ministry of Health in response to COVID-19 to offer a place which is a hub, a directory where you can go as somebody who is seeking help.
Especially mental health.
Mental health, right? And whilst it embodies mental health, there's a lot of suicide information and resources there.
If you are in crisis mode, you can walk into your nearest health center. And if you tell them, I'm having thoughts of harming myself, that immediately starts the process. You will be triaged, you will be seen by a medical professional, maybe a doctor, who in turn now is likely to do a psychiatric referral.
Understand that you can't start healing overnight. When I now started therapy, I felt terrible for months. I felt I'm doing something that's supposed to help me and it isn't helping me. But in the long run, it did. So you have to first believe that you deserve to feel better. That's the first thing. You need to believe that you deserve to feel better. Forget about what everybody else say, what they say and why they say the negative things that is, and believe that you deserve to feel better.
At the recent conference we had on violence, self and the young male, Archbishop Gordon gave a powerful example of the 4 critical roles of masculinity. One of them is king, he is warrior, he is magician, and he is lover. And it's when you twist those into the opposite that you get the violence.
If you have any questions about mental health and suicide, I invite you to send them to ttlifeline@gmail.com or visit the Lifeline website at www.lifelinett.com.
In closing, I want to encourage everyone and to let us know that each and every one of us can do something where suicide prevention is concerned. Are you going to do your part?
Thank you all for joining us on this journey to create hope through action. Remember, separating yourself from your suicidal thoughts is a powerful first step in finding your way back. Deep down, we all want to live, be at peace, evolve, find our joy, and enjoy this life we have been given. But suicidal thoughts can lead you to a place of hopelessness, frustration, loneliness, and utter pain. A pain that can crack you wide open. You just need to remember that you are made of pure magic and resilience. You're a human being and we do amazing and unbelievable things every day. So you can find your way back to wanting to live again. Talk it out until that pain begins to ease just a little, one step at a time, one day at a time. As we heard from Nazim Mohammed, it will not be easy, but your life and what you have to offer the world are worth it. Thanks to Dr. Lucretia Gabriel, Swayne Leo Hosein Cadogan, and Anthony Von Ganness for the work that they do and all the lives you quietly save daily. I am Aché Abrahams. Let's unite and make this world a place where mental health is prioritized, stigma is shattered, and hope is ignited. Together we can create hope through action.
So the community needs to be understanding that we need to also be patient with people who have suicidal thoughts. You don't just say everything is going to be okay and to be grateful for what you have. You could be grateful for what you have. However, we are allowed to feel how we feel and we are allowed to move at a certain pace to get to a better place. So understanding is important. Patience is important. Listening is important. And another significant thing, I think the most important thing is what we say and how we say it. Because if you are dealing with someone who is suicidal and your response is you need to be grateful for what you have and look at the things that you have, other people don't have it, and you use that sort of comparison to make them feel invalidated, it's going to make them feel more guilty, more sad, more hopeless. Simply just be there.